been fighting, haven't you? Pushing, forcing, carrying weight that feels heavier each day. And still, the harder you try, the further peace seems to drift away. But there is a secret, one far greater than effort, far greater than struggle, far greater than all the restless striving of men and women. Joseph Murphy devoted his life to unveiling this truth, that when you stop wrestling with life, when you stop fighting the tide, the current of divine order carries you exactly where you are meant to go. His words were not given to stir excitement, but to awaken the weary heart, to show you that the law moves most powerfully when you do nothing at all. Those who came to hear him did not leave with heavier burdens. They left lighter, for Murphy knew this. When you release your grip, life takes hold. When you stop chasing, what you seek begins moving toward you. He spoke to quiet the noise of doubt, to lift the load from the tired, and to guide the soul into that inner chamber where miracles fall into place without struggle. And now, here you are, not by accident, not by chance. You've been brought to this very moment because the words ahead are not theory, they are living law. They have healed broken bodies, restored broken lives, renewed broken minds. They outlived the man himself because they belong to something eternal, a law that does not fail, does not tire, and does not sleep. So pause, breathe, lay down the weight of tomorrow, release the shadows of yesterday, step into this moment as though stepping into a sacred hall. For the words you are about to hear will not demand that you fight harder. They will invite you to let go and watch life fight for you. Prepare your heart, quiet your mind. For once you receive this truth, you will never be as you were before. Now, let the words of Joseph Murphy move into you deeply and witness what happens when you do nothing and miracles finally fall into place. And now, we begin.
What if the greatest miracles of your life were not waiting for your effort, but for your surrender? What if the very thing you have been straining for, fighting for, praying for with clenched fists has been kept from you only because you would not let go? Tonight I want you to consider a truth so radical, so liberating, that it may shake the very foundation of how you have been taught to live. You do not make miracles happen. They happen when you stop trying to control them. The moment you release the grip of fear, the moment you cease forcing outcomes, the moment you allow the infinite to move, life arranges itself with precision beyond anything you could engineer. Do nothing after this, truly nothing, and watch the miraculous order of divine intelligence take its place. The subconscious mind is always at work, silently, ceaselessly, weaving tomorrow from the thoughts impressed upon it today. It does not require your struggle, your strain, your endless worry. In fact, the more you struggle, the more you suggest to your subconscious that lack and fear are real, and the more it reproduces them. But when you step back and declare, "It is handled. Divine order governs my life," the subconscious accepts this impression and begins to orchestrate events in your favor. It is paradoxical yet certain. When you stop pushing, the river flows. When you stop grasping, the gift is placed in your hand. This is the secret that has confounded the restless and rewarded the surrendered. Miracles are the natural result of harmony between your conscious word and your subconscious faith. Consider the farmer who plants his seed. Once the seed is in the soil, does he dig it up each morning to check its progress? Does he pull at its roots to make it grow faster? No, he leaves it. He trusts the law of growth, and he knows the harvest is inevitable. But many of you plant the seed of prayer and then destroy it by doubt. You affirm abundance, and then you look at your bills and panic. You declare health, and then you rehearse your symptoms in fear. The subconscious receives the contradiction, and confusion is expressed. But when you affirm once and rest in trust, when you impress the truth deeply and refuse to disturb it, the subconscious goes to work unfailingly. Do nothing and the law works. Strain nothing and the miracle unfolds. The farmer trusts the soil. Why not trust the infinite? A man once came to me frantic about his business. He said, "Doctor, I pray, I affirm, I work, but nothing changes." His very tone revealed the truth. He was begging, pleading, straining. I told him, "You are like a man shouting at the sun to rise faster. Cease the shouting and let the law operate." I gave him this affirmation: "Infinite intelligence manages my affairs in divine order. I rest in perfect trust." He was to repeat it quietly, especially before sleep, and then drop the burden entirely. Weeks later he returned with radiant eyes. New contracts had come, debts were resolved, harmony had returned. He said, "It feels as though the moment I stopped fighting, everything aligned." And so it was. What a change! Not the world, only the seed he impressed. The subconscious, left undisturbed, expressed the order he trusted. You must grasp this: miracles are not interruptions of law. They are fulfillments of law. When you release the grip of fear, you allow the law of life to work unobstructed. When you surrender the struggle, the infinite rushes in to arrange the details. This is why I say, stop interfering with the divine process. Stop pushing, stop resisting, stop demanding. Plant the seed in faith and then rest. Let the subconscious carry the work, for it never sleeps, it never argues, it never doubts. It only executes the impression you leave with it. And if that impression is one of trust, peace, and expectancy, then your life must express trust, peace, and expectancy. Do nothing and watch the everything unfold. Perhaps you fear that doing nothing means laziness, passivity, weakness. No. Doing nothing means ceasing the inner war. It means aligning with divine order instead of fighting against it. It means no longer poisoning your subconscious with doubt after affirming with faith. It means saying it is done and resting in that assurance. True power is not in frantic effort. It is in calm conviction. The subconscious does not respond to strain. It responds to certainty. When you speak with calm authority, when you impress with unwavering faith, the law acts swiftly. To do nothing after impressing is to show the highest form of faith, for it declares, I know the seed will grow. I know the law will operate. I know the infinite cannot fail. There is a scripture that says, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Stand still, not run, not panic, not grasp, but stand still and the way opens. Another says, be still and know that I am God. Why? Because in stillness the conscious mind stops interfering, and the subconscious, united with the infinite, takes over. Your frantic effort is often the very block to your blessing. Your restless meddling disturbs the soil. Your constant checking uproots the seed. But in stillness the subconscious works with undisturbed power. In stillness the miracle takes root. Be still and watch life align itself in your favor. Imagine for a moment a river clogged with debris. The water struggles, pools, overflows, unable to flow freely. This is your life. When you insist on controlling every detail, when you insist on worrying over every outcome. But remove the debris, fear, doubt, resentment, and instantly the river flows with ease. Doing nothing means clearing the channel, removing the obstruction, allowing the current of infinite intelligence to carry you. You do not need to direct the river. It knows where to go. You do not need to force the flow. It flows by nature. Your only task is to remove what blocks it. The rest takes care of itself. Let us seal tonight's truth with a decree you can write upon your heart. Whisper it as you hear it. Write it on paper. Let it echo until your subconscious accepts it as law. I am guided by infinite intelligence. I let go and trust divine order. Miracles flow to me effortlessly. Say it again with conviction. I am guided by infinite intelligence. I let go and trust divine order. Miracles flow to me effortlessly. This is not wishful thinking. It is the law of belief. And what is impressed tonight must be expressed tomorrow. Do nothing after this, and watch the miracles fall into place. The moment you let go, you announce to life that you trust its higher order. You stop treating the infinite as though it were deaf to your prayers or reluctant to bless you. And instead you recognize that the blessing has been waiting for you to release the resistance. Many live as beggars before an open treasury, pleading for coins when the vault of abundance is within them. But the vault will not open to anxious hands. It opens to trust, to calm conviction, to the soul that says, I know it is mine now. When you do nothing in fear, nothing changes. But when you do nothing in faith, everything changes. Doing nothing is not apathy. It is the greatest form of activity, for it aligns you with the ceaseless movement of divine intelligence. Think of your subconscious as the soil and your affirmations as seeds. The soil does not require you to push at it or shout at it. It requires only that you trust the process, that you leave the seed undisturbed, that you water it with quiet expectation. A farmer knows that the night is working, that unseen roots are forming, that life beneath the surface is preparing the harvest. He does not dig up the soil each dawn to check progress. But many of you have been digging up your seeds with doubt, planting faith by day and uprooting it with fear by night. That is why results delay. If you would simply plant the seed and leave it, the harvest would come quickly. So I ask you tonight, will you leave the seed in peace? Will you trust the soil of your subconscious to do its perfect work? A woman once told me she prayed for health, but she could not stop talking about her sickness. She prayed for strength, but she dwelt daily on weakness. I said to her, you are affirming two masters. Your lips speak health, but your heart affirms sickness. Your subconscious listens to the heart, not the lips. I gave her a single practice. Before sleep, she was to declare, I am whole. Divine health flows through me now. Every cell sings with life. She was to say it once, feel it, and then release it. Within weeks, her health improved, not because of frantic effort, but because she stopped fighting the law and started trusting it. This is the miracle of doing nothing. When the burden is dropped, the law begins to work freely. You must understand that miracles are not created by strain, but by surrender. A miracle is simply life aligning itself with the belief you have impressed upon the subconscious. The alignment does not require your anxious hand, it requires your steady faith. If you imagine wealth and then panic over bills, you block the flow. If you declare love and then brood on loneliness, you choke the seed. But if you affirm once and rest in peace, life begins to weave circumstances unseen by you, opening doors, shifting hearts, arranging provision. It seems miraculous only because you could not see the hidden process. But the process is as lawful as sunrise. Miracles are law in motion, and law responds best to stillness. The conscious mind always wants to interfere, to measure, to calculate, to demand. It says, but how will it happen? But when will it happen? And each question digs up the seed. The subconscious does not need your calculation, it needs your conviction. The conscious mind is the watchman at the gate, but once the order is given, the watchman must step aside. If you have impressed the subconscious with the vision of your desire, your only task is to stand still, to rest, to allow. The infinite will handle the how and the when. Say to yourself quietly, I do not need to know how, I only need to know it is done. This is the language of faith, and faith is the master key to the subconscious. There is a law of non-resistance that governs life. Water flows around boulders without struggle. Rivers carve canyons not by force, but by persistence and flow. So too must your faith operate. Do not resist conditions with anxiety. Do not fight the outer world with fear. Flow around obstacles with calm conviction. Say to yourself, this problem is divinely outmatched. I release it now. Divine order handles it. Each time you do, the subconscious receives the impression of victory, not struggle, and life begins to arrange the victory for you. Resistance breeds resistance, but surrender breeds solution. Do nothing in fear, and the boulder stands. Do nothing in faith, and the water carves a path. A man once said to me, Doctor, I cannot find work. I apply everywhere, and the doors close. I asked him, what do you repeat within yourself? He said, I always think, I will be rejected, they will not choose me. His subconscious obeyed his expectation and closed every door. I gave him a new practice. Each night before sleep, declare, infinite intelligence opens the perfect door for me. Divine order governs my work. I am already accepted. Then stop searching frantically. Wait in peace. He obeyed. Soon after, without forcing, he was offered a position better than the ones he had chased. The miracle came when he ceased the chase. He planted the seed and did nothing but trust. I want you to feel this truth deep in your being. The law does not need your help. It only needs your cooperation. Cooperation is not struggle. Cooperation is impression followed by release. Plant, then rest. Affirm, then trust. Command, then stand still. You cannot speed the harvest by pulling at the seedling. You can only destroy it. But you can accelerate the harvest by feeding your subconscious consistent images of peace, abundance, and harmony, then allowing the infinite to handle the arrangement. Trust is faster than strain. Faith is stronger than force. Stillness is more powerful than panic. The moment you let go, you make room for the miracle. Now let us engrave this principle upon your heart with an affirmation. Say it with me, write it if you can. Whisper it until your subconscious accepts it as fact. I let go and trust divine order. Infinite intelligence handles every detail of my life. Miracles flow to me as I rest in faith. Say it again slowly. I let go and trust divine order. Infinite intelligence handles every detail of my life. Miracles flow to me as I rest in faith. Let it sink deep, for this is the secret. Do nothing after this, and watch the unseen hands of the infinite arrange all things in your favor. There is a power working for you that does not need your permission, only your direction. It never sleeps, it never argues, it never delays, it only executes. This is your subconscious mind, united with the infinite, and it is always obeying the last impression you gave it. Yet many of you give it a command of faith in one breath and cancel it with fear in the next. You say, I am healed, then whisper, but what if it gets worse? You say, I am prosperous, then sigh, but I don't see any way. The subconscious hears both, but it obeys the dominant impression, and the dominant impression is almost always fear. That is why miracles seem delayed, not because the law is weak, but because you are contradictory. The moment you choose to impress once and release, the moment you do nothing but trust, the contradiction ends, and the law moves swiftly. A woman once came to me with insomnia. She told me she had tried every method, every treatment, but nothing worked. I asked her what she did before sleep. She said, I lie awake and tell myself I will never rest. That was her nightly command. The subconscious obeyed and rest fled from her. I told her, you must change the order. Tonight, as you lie down, whisper calmly, I sleep in peace. Divine love enfolds me. My body rests. My mind is still. Say it once, believe it, and then let it go. Do nothing after that. She returned days later transformed. The insomnia was gone, not by effort, but by surrender. She stopped fighting sleep, and sleep came. The subconscious expressed the new impression once it was left undisturbed. Doing nothing is the courage to step back and let infinite intelligence manage what you cannot. It is saying, this problem is not mine to carry. The solution is already at work. Too often you cling to your burdens, afraid to release them, as though fear were protection. But fear is a false guard. The moment you let go, the true power moves. A businessman once drowning in debt was instructed to release his worry each night with the words, Infinite supply sustains me. Divine order balances my accounts. At first he resisted, but soon he practiced faithfully. He stopped pacing, stopped fearing, and began resting. Within months, unexpected resources came, and the debt dissolved. His miracle arrived the day he stopped wrestling and started trusting. You must remember that the subconscious is impartial. It does not judge whether your request is noble or selfish, great or small. It only manifests what you impress. If you impress fear, it will build a fearful world. If you impress peace, it will build a peaceful one. This impartiality is your greatest danger and your greatest gift. It means you cannot afford idle words of despair, but it also means you can choose tonight to speak words of faith and know they will be obeyed. The law does not choose for you. You must choose for yourself. And the choice is always between fear and faith, doubt and trust, struggle and surrender. There is a scripture that says, the Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. That is the essence of doing nothing. Holding your peace is the highest act of faith. It is refusing to pick up the burden again after you have placed it on the altar of the infinite. It is saying it is done, and leaving it done. When you hold your peace, you stop disturbing the soil of the subconscious, and the law works freely. This is why miracles often arrive when you least expect them, because you finally stopped interfering. You finally held your peace, and the law carried out its perfect work. A young musician once told me of crippling stage fright. Before every performance, he rehearsed his failure in his mind. His subconscious obeyed, and failure came. I told him, stop rehearsing defeat. Begin to affirm, I am calm, I am confident. Divine expression flows through me. Say it before you step on stage, then let it go. Do nothing but play. He obeyed, and soon the fear vanished. The secret was not that he tried harder, but that he stopped trying to control the outcome. He impressed success, and then did nothing but allow it. The subconscious, left free, expressed it flawlessly. You must grasp that the law is not mocked. Whatever you impress will be expressed. If you persist in fear, you will reap its harvest. If you persist in faith, you will reap its harvest. The soil does not ask why you plant weeds, it simply grows them. But it will grow roses with the same fidelity. Tonight, you are planting. Every thought, every word, every feeling is a seed. Ask yourself honestly, what am I planting? And will I have the courage to do nothing but let the seed grow? The harvest is certain. The only question is which seed you will leave undisturbed. Doing nothing is not laziness, it is mastery. It is knowing that the infinite moves when you step aside. It is faith in action, faith so strong it needs no proof, no panic, no interference. It is the quiet confidence that says, my life is governed by divine order and all is well. And when that conviction is impressed, miracles must follow. They are not delayed, they are simply waiting for you to stop uprooting them. Tonight, release the struggle, plant the seed, rest in trust, and watch life respond with precision. Seal this lesson now with an affirmation. Say it with me. I am calm, I am guided, I am supplied. I release control and trust divine order. Miracles unfold in my life with ease. Write it, whisper it, repeat it, until your subconscious accepts it. Then do nothing more. Leave it there. For the law has heard, and the law will answer. What is impressed will be expressed, and nothing can stop the harvest once the seed is planted. When you try to control every outcome, you unknowingly tell your subconscious that chaos rules, and that fear is stronger than faith. The more you grasp, the more it slips away. The more you demand, the further it retreats. But when you release, when you say within yourself, I trust the law of life to work for me, a profound shift occurs. Your subconscious accepts peace as its instruction, and life begins to mirror that peace back to you. This is the essence of doing nothing. It is not inactivity, it is inner mastery. It is refusing to let panic be your guide, refusing to let doubt be your command, and instead choosing the stillness of faith. That stillness is not weakness, it is power at rest, and power at rest is unshakable. A woman once came to me burdened with endless worry about her children. She hovered, she fretted, she prayed in desperation, but nothing improved. I told her, your anxiety is your prayer, and it is being answered. You are impressing your subconscious with fear for them, and life is reflecting it. She asked, what should I do then? Stop praying. I said, stop worrying, and start trusting. Say instead, divine love watches over my children. They are guided, guarded, and prospered wherever they go. Declare it once, believe it, and release it. Then do nothing. She practiced, and slowly her home filled with peace. The children began to thrive, not because of her frantic grip, but because she had released them into divine order. The miracle happened when she did nothing but trust. Doing nothing means you stop arguing with appearances. The conscious mind screams, look at the evidence, look at the lack, look at the sickness. But the subconscious does not care about evidence, it cares about conviction. If you yield to appearances, you feed fear into the subconscious, and fear is expressed. But if you calmly affirm, I am supplied, I am healed, I am safe, and rest in that belief, the subconscious receives that impression and expresses it, regardless of appearances. Appearances are past conditions. Belief creates future conditions. When you do nothing, you refuse to bow to the illusion, and you choose instead to stand on the unseen law. And the unseen law, once impressed, always becomes seen. There is a verse that says, according to your faith, be it unto you, not according to your labor, not according to your begging, but according to your faith. Faith is the calm certainty that the seed you planted must grow. Faith is doing nothing after prayer except trusting the law to act. Faith is the highest form of activity because it places the infinite in charge. The man of fear rushes, manipulates, forces, and fails. The man of faith plants, trusts, waits, and succeeds. The difference is not in effort but in conviction. The law obeys both equally. The fearful man reaps fear. The faithful man reaps peace. So I ask you now, what are you reaping? And if you do not like the harvest, are you willing tonight to plant differently? Think of your subconscious as the crew of a great ship, and your conscious mind as the captain. The captain gives the order, and then he does nothing but trust the crew to carry it out. He does not run to the engine room, does not pull at the levers, does not disturb the process. He speaks once with authority, and the ship moves. If the captain panics and shouts conflicting orders, the ship goes astray. So it is with you. Give your subconscious one clear order, in faith. and then do nothing but rest. Say, I am guided, I am supplied, I am at peace. Say it once with conviction, and then leave it alone. Your subconscious, united with infinite intelligence, knows the way. Do not disturb it with fear. Stand still and let the ship sail. A man once told me he had prayed for love, but only loneliness came. I asked him what he thought of himself, and he said, I always feel unwanted. I told him, that is the command you are giving your subconscious. It obeys you perfectly. I gave him a new affirmation. I am loved. I am cherished. Divine love flows through me and attracts harmony. He was to say it quietly before sleep, believe it once, and then release it. In time, the loneliness dissolved, and love entered his life. The miracle was not forced, it was allowed. It came when he stopped begging for love and started believing in love. Doing nothing was the key, for nothing left the subconscious free to work without contradiction. Doing nothing does not mean ignoring your responsibilities. It means refusing to live in inner tension. You still rise, you still act, you still meet the world, but you meet it from a place of calm assurance, not restless anxiety. You do not drag your burdens with you. You release them to the infinite and walk forward unencumbered. And the paradox is this: when you let go, you act more wisely, more powerfully, more effectively. Because your mind is clear, doing nothing is not escape, it is alignment. And alignment produces results faster than anxiety ever could. You may wonder, what if I let go and nothing happens? But something always happens. The law cannot fail. What is impressed must be expressed. If you feel nothing, it is because you have impressed nothing. If you feel contradiction, it is because you have impressed contradiction. But if you impress peace, peace will appear. If you impress supply, supply will appear. If you impress love, love will appear. The timeline may vary, but the law does not. The seed never fails. It only grows in its own season. Your role is not to dictate the season, but to plant the seed and wait in faith. The infinite knows the timing. Trust it. Now let us engrave this law upon the subconscious with a living decree. Say it with me quietly, with the calm authority of faith. I release the struggle. I trust divine order. Infinite intelligence carries me now. Miracles unfold as I rest in peace. Write it, whisper it, let it sink deep. For tonight you are planting the seed, and the seed cannot fail. Do nothing after this, and watch the law of life bring forth the harvest in ways you cannot imagine. A man once told me he prayed endlessly for prosperity, but the more he prayed, the poorer he became. I asked him, what words do you use? He said, I always ask, Lord, why don't you bless me? His very prayer was a confession of lack. His subconscious, hearing only the dominant emotion, produced more lack. I told him, you must stop begging. You must declare. Each night say calmly, I am one with divine abundance. Infinite supply flows to me freely and endlessly. I prosper now. Say it once, believe it, and then stop. He obeyed. Soon unexpected opportunities opened and his life shifted. The difference was not in effort but in impression. He moved from pleading to trusting, from struggle to surrender, and that is the essence of doing nothing. Every miracle begins in the silence of belief, long before it shows itself in the world of form. The greatest mistake people make is thinking that their frantic activity produces the result, but your restless striving is not the cause. It is only the reflection of your doubt. The real cause is the impression stamped upon your subconscious, and that impression is sealed not by noise but by stillness. The law does not require your struggle, it requires your surrender. When you do nothing after impressing faith, you tell the infinite that you trust it fully, and the infinite rushes to meet you with precision. This is why the quiet soul sees miracles, while the restless soul sees only delay. A woman once told me she longed for companionship, but only found disappointment. I asked her what she told herself at night. She said, I always think no one could ever love me. That was her command. Her subconscious obeyed faithfully. I gave her a new practice. Before sleep, declare, I am surrounded by love. Divine harmony governs my relationships. I am cherished and wanted. Say it once with conviction, then let it go. In time, her world changed. Love came, not because she chased it, but because she stopped contradicting herself with fear. Doing nothing gave the subconscious room to bring the right person into her life. The subconscious is a perfect mirror. It reflects not your wishes but your convictions. If you say, I want abundance, but feel unworthy, it reflects unworthiness. If you say, I want healing, but fear disease, it reflects disease. Doing nothing means refusing to feed the fear, refusing to rehearse the doubt, refusing to pick up the burden again once you have laid it down. It is the discipline of resting in truth, and rest is the greatest act of faith. For when you rest, you declare, I know the seed is growing, I know the law is working, I know the infinite has already answered. When you plant a seed in the soil, you do not stay awake at night, worrying if it is growing. You know the soil is faithful, the law is faithful, and the seed must sprout. But many of you pray as though the law might forget. You plead, you repeat in panic, you disturb the soil with your anxiety. This is why your miracles seem delayed. The soil of the subconscious is perfectly faithful. It never forgets, never delays, never argues. It expresses what you impress. Your only task is to plant and leave it. Plant faith, not fear. Plant abundance, not lack. Plant love, not resentment. And then do nothing but wait. The law cannot fail. This principle is so simple that many overlook it. They believe miracles must be earned with labor, achieved with struggle, forced into being. But the law of life is not bribed by sweat. It is moved by belief. And belief is strongest when it is calm, not frantic, steady, not restless. Doing nothing is not weakness, it is confidence. It is standing so firm in your faith that you refuse to run, refuse to panic, refuse to grasp. You simply stand, knowing the law is working, and the law proves itself in your life. A businessman once confessed to me that his greatest fear was losing everything. He affirmed prosperity, but then each night imagined disaster. His subconscious obeyed the dominant picture, and disaster followed. I told him, you must reverse the picture. Begin to see yourself safe, supplied, successful. Each time fear arises, calmly replace it with, I am divinely protected. I am supplied in every way. My affairs are in perfect order. Then release it. Do nothing but trust. In time the fear dissolved, his affairs stabilized, and prosperity returned. The miracle did not come by fighting fear, but by withdrawing attention from it. He stopped watering weeds, and roses grew. You must also realize that doing nothing is the cure for impatience. Impatience is fear disguised, the fear that the law will fail you. But the law cannot fail. Just as water flows to the sea, just as the sun rises each morning, so too does the subconscious express what is impressed. Delay does not mean denial. It only means the seed is still germinating. Trust the process. Hold your peace. Let the infinite handle the unseen. Your impatience does not speed the harvest. It only disturbs it. Rest is the shortest path to manifestation. Stillness is the swiftest way to miracles. Now, let us plant this truth within. Say it with me, and let it sink into the soil of your subconscious. I rest in divine order. I release fear and doubt. Infinite supply sustains me. Infinite love surrounds me. Infinite intelligence guides me. Miracles unfold as I stand still. Write it, whisper it, believe it. For what is impressed tonight will be expressed tomorrow. Do nothing after this, and watch the unseen power arrange your life in ways more perfect than you could design. The universe does not reward the frantic mind, but the surrendered heart. When you strain, when you clutch at outcomes, you are telling your subconscious that you do not trust the law. And the subconscious, obedient as always, reflects back the very tension you give it. But when you release, when you rest in quiet conviction, you are saying, I know the law works. I know the infinite cannot fail. That is when the miraculous alignment begins. This is why some achieve so much with little visible effort, while others labor endlessly with little to show. The difference is not talent, nor luck, but trust. The one has learned the art of doing nothing after impressing faith, while the other insists on disturbing the soil with fear. A man once told me he suffered crippling anxiety each night about his future. He said, I go to bed with knots in my stomach, rehearsing every failure that could come. His subconscious, fed with these pictures, obeyed with relentless precision. His days mirrored his nights. I told him, Before you sleep, change the record. Instead of rehearsing failure, impress success. Say calmly, I rest in divine peace. Tomorrow unfolds in perfect order. Infinite wisdom goes before me and makes the way straight. Say it once, feel it, and then do nothing more. Let the subconscious carry the burden. He practiced. In time, the anxiety lifted, opportunities opened, and life mirrored his new conviction. The miracle came not by effort, but by stillness. Doing nothing is an act of discipline. It is refusing to let doubt return after faith has spoken. It is standing at the gate of your mind and saying, I have planted the seed, and I will not uproot it. It is replacing every whisper of fear with a silent declaration of peace. This is not passivity, it is mastery. The weak man fights with appearances, but the strong man rests in truth. And truth does not need defending, it only needs believing. When you stand still in faith, appearances must bend to the conviction within you, for the subconscious always expresses what is impressed. Think of Caruso, the great tenor, seized with fear before his performance. His throat tightened, his body trembled. His conscious mind screamed, "You cannot do it." But he spoke with authority to his subconscious, "Caruso, get out there and sing." He gave the command once, and then he let go. The fear dissolved, and the voice of genius flowed. This is the pattern for you. Speak once with faith, and then stop speaking. Command with conviction, and then do nothing but allow. The subconscious will obey, for it does not argue, it only acts. The miracle comes the moment you refuse to interfere with doubt. A woman once came to me burdened with guilt. She said, I pray, but I cannot stop punishing myself for past mistakes. I told her, your prayer is poisoned by self-condemnation. You ask for healing, but you impress your subconscious with guilt. Release it, affirm instead. Divine love forgives and frees me. I am clean, I am new, I am whole. Say it once with feeling, then release it. Do nothing but rest in the forgiveness already granted. She obeyed, and peace flooded her soul. The past lost its grip, and her future opened like a garden in spring. The miracle came not because she forced it, but because she stopped rehearsing the old impression. She planted forgiveness and left it alone, and forgiveness bloomed. You must learn to let go of the how. The conscious mind demands to know the mechanism, the path, the timeline. But the subconscious does not require your map, it requires only your belief. When you say, I know not how, but I know it is done, you place the infinite in charge, and the infinite has infinite channels. What you call coincidence is simply the subconscious arranging the unseen. Your task is not the engineering, your task is the believing. Plant the seed, rest in trust, and let the infinite handle the harvest. Doing nothing is the highest faith, for it declares, I know the unseen is already moving in my favor. Do not be deceived by appearances of delay. A seed does not sprout the moment it is planted. It germinates in silence, in darkness unseen. So too with your prayers. The moment you impress the subconscious, the process begins. You may not see it, but it is working. If you disturb the soil, you will not see the sprout. But if you wait, in peace, in trust, the first shoot will appear, and then the harvest will follow. The law cannot fail, and the law is never late. Doing nothing is simply refusing to destroy your own seed with impatience. You must also guard against negative suggestions from others. The world is full of voices declaring fear, lack, and failure. If you let them enter, they will plant weeds in your subconscious. But you have the power to reject them. When someone says you cannot, say within yourself, infinite intelligence can. When someone says it is impossible, affirm silently, with God all things are possible. In this way you impress only truth, and you leave it to grow. Doing nothing after this means you no longer argue with the world. You let your inner decree stand, and the law, impartial and unfailing, expresses it. Now let us seal this truth in the depths of your being with affirmation. Say with me, I rest in faith. I release the how and the when. Infinite intelligence knows the way, and I trust it now. Miracles are unfolding in silence, and I receive them in peace. Write it, whisper it, let it sink deep, for what you impress tonight will be expressed tomorrow. Do nothing more. Trust the law, and the law will never fail you. Every fear you continue to feed is an order given to the subconscious. Every worry you rehearse is a blueprint you hand to the silent builder within. And the builder does not pause to question whether you meant it. It simply constructs. That is why so many live in houses built of dread, walking daily in the rooms of their own anxious design. But tonight you are learning a different way. You are learning to dismiss fear, to starve worry, to impress peace, and then to step back in trust. The miracle does not come when you push harder. It comes when you stop interfering, do nothing, and the builder finishes the house according to the highest plan. There was a man who came to me convinced his health was beyond repair. He had accepted the suggestions of doctors who told him his days were numbered. Each night he rehearsed death in his mind, and the subconscious, obeying, hastened his decline. I told him, you must stop repeating the lie. Begin to affirm, the healing presence of God flows through me. Every cell is alive with divine vitality. I am whole now. Impress it once with conviction, and then leave it. He obeyed. In time, strength returned. His body renewed itself, and the shadow of death was lifted. The healing did not come through strain, but through surrender. He stopped rehearsing the end, and he began resting in life. Doing nothing was the doorway to health. You must understand that faith is not effort. It is calm certainty. Fear agitates, faith steadies. Fear races, faith rests. Fear argues, faith declares once and is silent. Doing nothing is the silence of faith. It is standing so firm in your inner conviction that you no longer feel compelled to shout, to beg, to force. The subconscious is not persuaded by volume, but by certainty. If you can feel your affirmation as true even once, deeply, vividly, then the subconscious accepts it. And once accepted, it is as sure as dawn. The miracle may still appear in silence, in stages, but it is already on its way. Rest and let it come. A woman once confessed to me that she prayed constantly for love, but only attracted disappointment. I asked her, what do you think of yourself in secret? She admitted, I feel unworthy, unwanted. That was the real command she had given. Her lips spoke of love, but her heart whispered rejection, and the subconscious obeyed the heart. I told her to begin each night with a decree. I am cherished. Divine love surrounds me. I am worthy and wanted. She was to say it once with conviction, then do nothing but rest. Within months her life was filled with harmonious companionship. She did not chase. She did not beg. She allowed. The miracle came when she stopped contradicting her prayer with fear. Doing nothing is also the cure for overanalysis. The conscious mind wants to calculate every step, to demand the details, to unravel the mystery. But the subconscious works best in darkness, in silence, in secrecy. The seed does not grow under the scrutiny of constant digging. It grows when it is left buried in trust. So too with your desires. Stop asking how. Stop worrying when. These are weeds in the soil. Say once, it is done, and then release the matter. Infinite intelligence knows the way, and the way is often beyond your imagination. The miracle appears when you stop demanding to control its path. The law is impartial. It will express whatever you impress. If you plant fear, it expresses fear. If you plant peace, it expresses peace. If you plant lack, it expresses lack. If you plant abundance, it expresses abundance. It does not pause to weigh morality, or worthiness, or circumstance. It simply manifests belief. This is both danger and gift. The danger is that careless thoughts can build a careless life. The gift is that intentional thoughts can build a miraculous life. Tonight you hold that choice. And the choice is not about effort. It is about surrender. What seed will you leave in the soil? What belief will you rest upon? One man told me he longed for opportunity, but felt doors closed everywhere. I asked him what he affirmed inwardly. He said, I always think, no one wants me, I am always rejected. His subconscious, faithful servant obeyed. I told him to reverse it. Infinite intelligence opens the perfect door for me now. I am welcomed, I am accepted, I am prospered. He was to affirm it once, then release it. Soon after, opportunities appeared, doors opened, and he stepped into a new life. He did not force the door. He stopped knocking frantically. He did nothing but trust, and the law responded. Doing nothing is the most powerful declaration you can make, for it tells the infinite, I know it is already done. When you beg, you confess doubt. When you chase, you confess lack. But when you rest, you confess faith. And faith is always rewarded. The subconscious mind, united with infinite intelligence, cannot resist a conviction calmly held. It will express it with mathematical certainty. So stand still, do nothing but believe, and the miracle must appear. Now let us impress this truth with a decree. Say it quietly, write it if you can, whisper it until your heart believes it. I am worthy, I am guided, I am loved. Divine order governs my life. Infinite intelligence opens every door for me. Miracles flow as I rest in trust. Feel it, believe it, plant it, then do nothing more. For the law has heard, and the law will answer. Every time you surrender a burden, you make space for the infinite to work in your life. But as long as you clutch it, the law cannot act freely. The subconscious is like a faithful servant waiting for orders. If you hand it fear, it builds fear. If you hand it doubt, it builds obstacles. But if you release the problem with faith and declare, it is solved, it is handled, it is complete, the subconscious accepts that order and begins to orchestrate the answer. Doing nothing is not inactivity, it is commanding once with conviction and then stepping aside. It is the refusal to sabotage your own decree with restless repetition. The moment you let go, the machinery of the infinite begins to move. I once knew a student who longed for financial stability but spent every day in panic over bills. She prayed for supply, yet constantly muttered, "I'll never make it, I'm drowning." Her subconscious heard the muttering, not the prayer, and faithfully reproduced more lack. I told her, "You must stop repeating poverty. Begin to say, infinite supply sustains me. Abundance flows through me now. I am richly blessed." Say it once before sleep, mean it, and then rest. Do nothing more. She obeyed. In time, opportunities opened, resources came, and her life shifted. She said later, "It was when I finally stopped worrying that the miracle arrived." And so it is. The miracle waits not on your effort, but on your surrender. Doing nothing is also the secret to healing. A man once paralyzed by fear of illness came to me trembling. He said, "Every symptom frightens me. Every pain feels like the end." I asked him what he affirmed at night. He said, "I always think I am sick, I am weak." I told him, "Reverse it. Say instead, I am whole. The healing presence of God flows through me now. Every cell obeys divine order." Say it once, feel it, and then let it go. Do nothing but rest. He practiced faithfully. Soon his strength returned, the symptoms vanished, and health replaced fear. The healing did not come by anxious effort. It came the moment he stopped rehearsing disease and began resting in life. You must understand that the subconscious thrives on finality. It responds not to half-hearted attempts, but to the certainty of a decree. If you declare, "I am prosperous," and then argue with yourself, the subconscious receives confusion. But if you declare once with conviction and leave it, the subconscious accepts it as fact and begins the work. This is why I urge you, do not keep uprooting your affirmation to check if it has grown. Plant it once, water it with feeling, and let it be. The soil of the subconscious never forgets, never delays, never fails. It brings forth exactly what you leave in it, undisturbed. A woman once confessed, she prayed daily for love, yet always met disappointment. I asked her, "What do you truly believe about yourself?" She said, "I think I am unwanted." That was her real affirmation. I gave her new words. I am loved, I am cherished, I am surrounded by divine harmony. She was to say it once before sleep, and then release it. Months later, she told me her life was full of friendship and affection. The miracle came not when she forced it, but when she stopped contradicting herself with fear. She stopped begging for love and started believing in love. Doing nothing but trusting allowed her subconscious to bring love to her door. The law is impartial. It will build whatever you impress upon it, whether fear or faith, resentment or forgiveness, lack or abundance. That is why idle words are dangerous. They are seeds too. Every "I can't," every "I never," every "I won't" is a decree. And the subconscious, impartial and obedient, will build them into your life. But the same law makes idle blessings powerful. Say, "I am guided, I am safe, I am supplied," and those words too are seeds. The harvest is inevitable. Doing nothing means you stop pulling at the seed. Stop contradicting it. Stop watering weeds. You let only the good seed grow, and the law ensures the harvest. There is a scripture that says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God." Thanksgiving is another form of doing nothing. It says, "I know it is already done." When you give thanks in advance, you seal the prayer, and the subconscious accepts it as finished. Gratitude is the sign of faith. Worry is the sign of doubt. Gratitude waters the seed. Worry uproots it. Which will you choose tonight? If you would see miracles, choose gratitude. Declare once, give thanks, and then be still. The infinite loves stillness, for stillness is faith embodied. I tell you plainly, the moment you let go, the miracle begins. The moment you stop rehearsing fear, the path opens. The moment you refuse to argue with appearances, the law goes to work. You do not need to design the outcome. You need only to believe in it. The infinite handles the design. The subconscious handles the expression. Your only role is to impress and release. To do nothing after impressing is to show the highest confidence in the law. And the law, faithful and impartial, always rewards confidence. Now seal this truth with an affirmation. Say it with me quietly. I release my burdens. I trust divine order. Infinite intelligence works for me now. I am healed. I am supplied. I am loved. Miracles unfold as I rest in peace. Write it. Whisper it. Believe it. Let it sink deep, and then do nothing more. For the seed is planted and the harvest is certain. The world calls it coincidence when everything falls perfectly into place. But there is no such thing as coincidence in a universe governed by law. What men call luck is simply the subconscious fulfilling its orders with exactness. The so-called accident is the unseen hand of infinite intelligence arranging details beyond your sight. When you declare once with conviction and then do nothing, you allow the law to perform this work unhindered. Doors open, people appear, timing aligns, not by chance but by correspondence. Life mirrors what you have planted in silence. This is why the still soul sees miracles everywhere, while the restless soul sees only struggle. The law never fails. It is only disturbed by fear. A man once told me that his life had always been one of rejection. Every opportunity closed. Every venture failed. I asked him, "What do you affirm of yourself when no one listens?" He answered, "I always think I am not good enough." That was his hidden command, and his subconscious obeyed with perfect fidelity. I gave him new words. I am worthy. Infinite intelligence opens every door for me. I am accepted now. I told him, say it once each night. Mean it, and then let it go. Do nothing else. In time, the pattern reversed. Invitations came. Opportunities opened. Success appeared. What changed? Not the world, but the impression. He had finally given his subconscious a different order, and the law expressed it. Doing nothing is not neglect. It is trust. It is saying, I will not water weeds. I will not speak fear into being. I will not contradict my own prayer. It is choosing silence when doubt wants to shout. It is holding peace when fear wants to argue. It is walking calmly, knowing the invisible is already moving in your favor. The subconscious requires no reminder, no nagging, no struggle. It requires only a clear decree. Once it has it, the work is set in motion. Your only danger is to cancel it with contradiction. So I tell you, once you have spoken, rest. Once you have affirmed, release. The law does not need your help. It only needs your permission. A woman once told me she begged God each night to heal her, yet her illness lingered. I asked her, what do you think when you finish praying? She admitted, I always wonder if it will get worse. That wondering was her true prayer, and her subconscious obeyed. I told her, stop begging and start declaring. Say once, I am whole now. Divine health fills me. Say it, believe it, and then do nothing but rest. She obeyed. Slowly the illness melted, and health returned. The healing came not because she prayed more, but because she prayed once in faith, and then stopped disturbing the soil with fear. The seed was finally left in peace to grow. The conscious mind loves to argue, to question, to measure. It wants proof before belief. But the subconscious demands belief before proof. If you wait to see before you believe, you will wait forever. If you believe before you see, the seeing comes swiftly. This is the paradox of faith. Doing nothing is not passivity. It is choosing to live by law instead of appearance. Appearances change, law does not. If you trust appearances, you will be tossed like a ship in storm. If you trust the law, you will stand calm while storms pass. The subconscious will build whatever you believe. If you believe the storm, you live in storm. If you believe in peace, you live in peace. Choose wisely what you will leave undisturbed in the soil of your soul. A young student once told me, "Doctor, I keep repeating affirmations all day, yet nothing changes." I said, "You repeat because you do not believe. If you believed, once would be enough." He asked, "Then should I stop affirming?" I told him, "Repeat if it strengthens you, but understand this. One impression of faith is more powerful than 1,000 repetitions of doubt. The subconscious listens to feeling, not frequency. If you can feel it once as real, the law accepts it. Then do nothing but trust." He followed this advice, spoke less, believed more, and soon saw results. The miracle was not in the many words, but in the stillness that followed them. Doing nothing also means withdrawing attention from the problem. The more you stare at the obstacle, the more real you make it to your subconscious. But when you turn your gaze to the solution, the obstacle dissolves. This is why Scripture says, "Lift up your eyes. Lift them away from fear, away from lack, away from sickness. Fix them instead on harmony, on abundance, on peace. Declare once that it is yours, then turn away and rest. The subconscious will take care of the rest, for it has already received its instruction." You cannot stare at weeds and expect roses. You must plant roses, look up, and let the garden grow. And so I tell you tonight, miracles are not rare. They are constant, waiting to appear the moment you stop blocking them with fear. The law is faithful. Infinite intelligence is generous. The subconscious is obedient. Your part is the smallest. Plant the seed and then do nothing. Leave the rest to the law. This is the way of peace, the way of certainty, the way of effortless miracles. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Stand still and let life prove itself faithful. Seal this truth now with affirmation. Say it quietly, "I am worthy. I am whole. I am supplied. Divine love surrounds me. Divine order governs me. Infinite intelligence works for me now. I release the struggle, and miracles appear with ease." Write it, whisper it, let it sink deep. For tonight the seed is planted, and tomorrow the harvest must come. Every desire of your heart carries within it the power of its fulfillment, but that power is suffocated the moment you clutch it with fear. The subconscious is not moved by desperation. It is moved by conviction. When you say, "I must have this, I cannot live without it," you impress lack. But when you say calmly, "It is mine now by divine order," you impress abundance. Doing nothing after this is the proof of your belief, for it shows the subconscious that you trust the law enough to rest. The one who panics cancels his own decree, but the one who rests demonstrates faith, and faith is the only language the subconscious understands. A man once told me he prayed daily for peace in his home, yet strife always returned. I asked him, "What do you imagine when you think of your household?" He admitted, "I always see arguments, tension, division." That was the real seed. His subconscious simply reflected the picture. I told him, "Change the image. Each night declare divine harmony fills this home. Love governs every heart here. Peace reigns now." Say it once, believe it, and then release it. Do nothing more. He obeyed, and slowly the atmosphere shifted. Arguments dissolved, unity returned, peace settled like sunlight after storm. The miracle appeared when he stopped rehearsing discord and started resting in harmony. Stillness allowed the subconscious to build the new pattern without interruption. You must realize that your subconscious cannot resist a clear, final order. It will obey the strongest impression you give it. If you waver, it wavers. If you believe, it believes. If you doubt, it obeys the doubt. The secret is to plant one command and then do nothing to contradict it. This is why the words of Jesus were so powerful. Only believe. Not beg, not argue, not strain. Only believe. To do nothing after prayer is to show that you believe completely. And once belief is impressed, the law begins its work with mathematical certainty. The seed has been sown and the harvest is inevitable. A woman once told me she longed for prosperity but lived in dread of bills. She affirmed abundance, but every time she saw an envelope, she thought, "I am ruined." Her subconscious heard the ruin, not the abundance. I told her, stop declaring fear. Begin to say, infinite supply sustains me. All my needs are met now. I prosper in every way. Say it with conviction, then release it. Do nothing else. She obeyed. Soon new sources of income appeared. Debts cleared and abundance flowed. She said, it happened when I finally stopped rehearsing lack. And so it will be for you. The law never fails, but it cannot operate while you interfere with fear. Doing nothing is not inactivity of the body, but serenity of the mind. It is walking forward in life with calm confidence, knowing that the infinite has already arranged the path. You still act, you still work, you still move, but you do so without strain, without panic, without doubt. The subconscious handles the hidden details, while you handle the surface with peace. When you rest inwardly, you become more effective outwardly, for your actions are guided by divine intelligence. Doing nothing clears the channel, and wisdom flows. In stillness, you act with precision. In panic, you stumble. Which do you choose tonight? The law of life is the law of belief. Repeat that now, quietly but firmly. The law of life is the law of belief. Write it down and press it upon your heart. This law does not bend. It does not fail. It does not forget. Whatever you impress, you express. If you plant fear, you live in fear. If you plant faith, you live in faith. The harvest is exact, always corresponding to the seed. Doing nothing means leaving the seed undisturbed, letting the law carry out its perfect work. Stop doubting the soil. Stop demanding to see the sprout before its season. Rest and let the unseen become seen. A student once said, "But doctor, what if I affirm wrongly? What if I impress the wrong thing?" I told him, then you can replace it. The soil will grow whatever you plant next. Begin now to plant truth. Begin now to affirm harmony. Begin now to impress peace. The past does not bind you, for the subconscious is ready to receive a new order this moment. That is the mercy of the law. It never holds grudges. It only obeys the latest impression. Tonight you can plant again, and if you will leave the seed in silence, miracles will rise from the ground you thought barren. Do not underestimate the power of a single impression. One vivid command can outweigh years of doubt if it is felt deeply and left undisturbed. The subconscious is not keeping score of time, it is obeying conviction. This is why sudden healings, sudden breakthroughs, sudden changes occur. In one moment of true belief, the seed is planted so deeply that nothing can uproot it. Doing nothing afterward is simply keeping your hand off the soil, allowing the seed to sprout. The infinite does not need time, it needs trust, and trust is shown in stillness. Now let us seal this teaching with a decree of rest. Say it with me quietly. I believe and I rest. I am guided, I am supplied, I am healed. Infinite intelligence works for me now. I release the burden, and miracles unfold in perfect order. Write it, whisper it, feel it, let it settle into the soil of your subconscious. Then do nothing more. The law has heard, and the law will answer. The seed is planted, and the harvest must come.